In this video, we'll be looking at the describing data ideas from 1.2 to 2.3, and I'm going to skip down to letter C, where we want to create a single bar graph that compares earnings across quarters 3 and 4 for Cupco and Plastico. So we want to look at the revenues, that's our dependent variable, and we want to look at it by quarters and sales. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to basically insert our pivot table first. I'm going to put this on a new worksheet, and I'll just label this question 1C. And so what I want to do is I want to look at the by variables first. I have quarter and I have sales. So I want to be able to see across the two quarters, and then I only want to be looking at sales if the sales were actually made. So I am going to drop sales into report filter, and now in my report filter, remember that shows up above your table. Click select multiple items, uncheck no, and only show the yeses. So that means we'll only look at sales that profits that actually resulted in sales. And this I will put profit in the sum of values. Now this shows across both companies because I haven't specified any filter on which companies I'm going to be showing. So we can see that Cupco and Plastico are both still listed here. So this is actually the graph that I want to insert. So while I am clicked inside of the pivot table, remember this needs to be showing here. Under pivot tools, I'll select options, pivot chart, and I'm just going to put in a bar chart, so I'll click OK. And now this shows me what I want to see, which is 3, 4. Those are the quarters, and then I can see that this is the 6927 and this is the 1561. One thing you can do is you can actually change filters here. So if I included the nose as well, notice that the bars change, and so does my table. So just keep that in mind, that if you change these options within the pivot chart, that'll change your pivot table as well. If you ever want to make those disappear, and you right-click them and you click hide all field buttons on chart, that'll just make all that stuff go away. You don't really need the legend here since you're only staring at in overall, and then you can format your chart so that it has vertical and horizontal axes by finding it under pivot chart tools design tab, and now you can have whoops, that's not a very good one. Oops, that's not a very good one either. Something like this, and you can actually label the axes and everything else. In the next problem, we want to create a pie chart comparing the percentage of presentations that resulted in sales in the third and fourth quarters combined for the entire corporation. So we want to look at revenue percentage for each of the two quarters. Well, since we're not really looking at we just want to make sure we're looking at sales that were made, because we don't want to look at profits that weren't actually earned. So I'm actually going to just insert another pivot chart from the existing table, since this is what I want to see. But the cool thing about the pivot chart and selecting pie chart down here is that it will look at the 8488 as the whole and the 6927 and 1561 as the parts. So I'll select the simplest pie chart. There it is. You'll notice that the old one is underneath it. And now it actually shows me there's the third quarter and there's the fourth quarter, which seems about right. A little bit under 25% was earned during the fourth quarter. And this is just a nice visual to basically see how the profits were earned, when were they really earned. And then here we'll select whichever chart we want to show the percentages. Now keep in mind, this is a really important chart actually, because if a company is wanting to look at their profits, they're not just looking at how much they make, they're also looking at when they made that. So if they did really well in the third quarter and really poorly in the fourth quarter, that may have implications on what they can expect for profits, or maybe that it's the end of the year and people just aren't buying their product. In letter E, we want to create a bar graph that shows the percentage of revenues earned versus not earned out of total potential revenues for each of the two sister companies. So we want to look at the revenue by sale and company. So I've created a new tab here, and I've inserted a new chart, and I've put sale, yes or no, in my row, and the company in my columns, and then I've dropped profit into my values. So now I'm looking at Cupco. They actually had $17,582 million, or $17 million that they didn't earn. They actually only earned $7 million. So maybe this company, these companies looked at their service, but then in the end decided not to go with it. And same thing with Plastico. I can actually see the two values. But I want to see percentages. What percentage does 73 represent of 24,895?